Hi guys, it's Thursday, July 23rd, 2009. This is Confessions number 8. It's about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Once again, can't sleep. So, here I am, making a video for you guys. So I thought since the last video I did yesterday morning, I think it was yesterday, it might have been the day before, it was kind of depressing and sad and all that good stuff, so I thought maybe I'd try to cheer you guys up a little bit with some sort of good news that I got in the last day or so. But I got to see my doctors yesterday. My primary oncologist, he was at a conference for a whole week. He came back on Tuesday, so I got to talk to him again. We really didn't talk about much. We just kind of hung out and chatted and talked about how my treatment's been going, and then like what the next steps were after this round of treatment went. So we didn't really talk about much as far as like what's going to happen. But then later last night, and another doctor, he's a really, really nice guy. I got to know him pretty well last year through one of the ordeals that I have, and he's one of the oncologists too, and he's just a super nice guy. I can't say nothing about him. I won't mention his name or anything. I don't know if he'd want me to, but we talked a little bit about my treatment and other people that have been in my situation and how they have responded, and it was all actually kind of scary when he told me it, when we were all talking about it. So we went way back, all the way back to 2003, and started talking about the 2003 transplant and why we chose to do the transplant then. Well, I was a healthy 18-year-old kid. Disease was still, a transplant was obviously the route to go in 2003. So we did the transplant, and that lasted me for 5 years. 5 years. I relapsed again, as all of you know, on Christmas Eve 2007, and I didn't really know this until just more recently, until guys like he told me and my doctor told me. But the second transplant that I had from Lindsay, they didn't even want to do. They were hesitant. I don't even want to say hesitant. Some of them were adamant about not giving me the second transplant because they were that afraid that I would not survive that transplant. The transplant itself. We're talking the chemo and the radiation, and that's due to that's usually due to kidney failure and liver failure and other your organs shutting down. Aside from, it's not even. I wasn't really aware of how serious that situation really was until more recently. So, given the fact that they had already pretty much written me off in 2007 when that relapse occurred, and now that and here I am, a year and a half later after that transplant, and it's like, see, I don't want to be like, see, I told you so. I can handle this stuff. You just hit me with whatever you got. I'll do it, and I really have that mentality. I don't know why I have it, but I have it, and it's weird. So they gave me that transplant, gave me another year and a half. I relapsed again. The problem is, and everyone keeps asking, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, is everyone keeps asking, well, why don't you do another transplant from Mike or from Lindsay or something like that, or from someone else? And the thing is with transplants is that every single time you have a transplant, the chance of relapse increases, as well as does the chance that you won't survive the transplant itself. So if the likelihood that the transplant itself is going to kill me goes up, and the likelihood that I'll relapse after the transplant goes up, then it really doesn't make sense to do another transplant. So that's why transplant's been kind of taken out of the picture almost entirely. But he did give me some hope. He told me about a patient who was in a very similar situation to mine, had been through one, now two transplants, and he had relapsed within 100 days, 100 days of his second transplant. So this would have been, I had my transplant from Lindsay in April of 2008. Within 100 days of that day, this particular man relapsed. His cancer came back. And if 99 times out of 100 or greater, when that happens, you're pretty much screwed. That's it. You know, there aren't any. There's no one else walking around out there that can say that they survived a transplant post 100-day relapse. So my goal now, my main goal right now, is pray and hope to God that I do go into remission this time, because if I don't go into remission this round of chemo, the likelihood that I'll go into it next round of chemo is less, and everything just drops and drops and drops. So I need to go into remission now, and then they're going to do this DLI thing. They're going to give me some donated lymphocytes from Lindsay. Not all at once, but just a little bit here, and these are just donated white blood cells, and they're going to boost, they're basically going to jumpstart the car battery, her car battery that they put inside of me, slowly. They don't want to do it so bad that I get this rip-roaring, real flaming called GVHD, which graft-versus-host disease, I've explained that before in past videos. I've only got like 2 minutes left to do this, so I got to wrap this up quick. But the graft-versus-host disease itself, from the DLI, is plenty enough to kill me in itself. That's not even, we're not even talking leukemia. That's just organ and liver failure and shut down. So it's a very tough balancing act between killing off the leukemia and then giving you the right cell combination to keep it at bay and keep it in remission. But he did tell me of, and I'm mentioning this guy again, he did mention one patient that is still around today that was in very similar shoes that I'm sitting in right now and is doing quite well. So, and like I said, I've said this before, I've said it 100 times, I've said it 1,000 times, I still feel okay. I mean, I'm still, believe me, the side effects are kicking the crap out of me right now. I am hardly getting any sleep, as you can see. I'm in the bathroom all the time, in buckets all the time, but I'm doing it, and I'm not just doing it for me, I'm doing it for everyone else out there. I'm doing it for, it can be done, and I'm living proof of that. And it was a rough day yesterday, but I'm thinking today is going to be a little better than yesterday, and hopefully so on and so forth from here on out. I've got too much to live for. I've got too much going for me, and there's just way too much out there for me left to do yet to to throw down my arms. So here I come.